You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
No pressure, nah, I ain't feeling no pressure. No, I ain't stunting her, man. She wanna get on top of shit, I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide to the letter. It's just me against me, I ain't feeling no pressure. There's no hoes barred with the shit, nigga, everything gon' go. Hoes come to see me, I miss a heart and hustle up with the flow. I used to stand in the crowd, but now I'm the star of the show. My 10 in the field of play, I know you niggas looking down at my toe.
Bring that one back from the top. Bring that one back from the top.
No pressure, nah, I ain't feeling no pressure. No, I ain't stunting her, man. She wanna get on top of shit, I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide to the letter. It's just me against me, I ain't feeling no pressure. There's no hoes barred with the shit, nigga, everything gon' go. Hoes come to see me, I miss a heart and hustle up with the flow. I used to stand in the crowd, but now I'm the star of the show. My 10 in the field of play, I know you niggas looking down at my toes. I'm only smoking, no pressure. I'm digging graves with the shovel. Just like Pac in my nigga bags, you should know Liddy be a rebel. They watch the play full stack. My little nigga be the lookout. You broke that shit embarrassing. Like the drunk uncle watch the cookout. My 10 down, you got a foot out. I fuck my bitch, never pull out. A bitch drowning my drip flicker, she gon' feel the stain from my wrist. No disrespect on that clip. I put the tech on your lips. No handouts, they gon' go get it litty, cut a check for a quick. No pressure, nah, I ain't feeling no pressure. I ain't stunting her, man, she wanna get on top of shit, I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide to the letter. It's just me against me, I ain't feeling no pressure. There's no hoes barred with the shit, nigga, everything gon' go. Hoes come to see me, I miss a heart and hustle up with the flow. I used to stand in the crowd, but now I'm the star of the show. My 10 in the field of play, I know you niggas looking down at my toes. I ain't feeling no pressure, I do this shit in my sleep. I treat the hoes like a dog, while the bitches on a leash. I open up my palm, then tell the niggas come and eat. I got a kiss in my hand, can't tell me I ain't no peace. Lady counting his blessings, know he put me up on this level. My praise is up to the gods, but don't make me turn into a devil. I need to find that screw, cause I know my shit be loose. Went to sleeping on floors, now trapping out of the booth. No pressure, nah, I ain't feeling no pressure. No, I ain't stunting her, man, she wanna get on top of shit, I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide to the letter. It's just me against me, I ain't feeling no pressure.
Big checks from credit accepting. Thomas settled the case. You see the gavel and he red. Yeah. Thomas settled the case. Big checks from credit acceptance. Thomas settled the case. You see the gavel and he red. Yeah. Thomas been lit, call him litigator. He been in the court with the litigation. Thomas known in the court like Jordan in the 80s. He did his research, had a planet like her name is Katie. He put his foot on their neck like a foot fetish. Thomas is not a credit rookie, call him credit veteran. They try to throw a lion on him, but it couldn't catch him. The whole team did a dance, it's the credit stepper. He caught a chapter and a judge and they had to settle. We ain't even been to court, they just had to settle. We ain't even have a fort, they just had a level. On the ground with the gavel, we just had to wrestle. Yeah, Thomas not a rookie, this a vet, call him Top G. He a vet, top gun, he ain't never lost. Thomas know how to finance, he the top dog. Yeah, he been on a...
One of the most important assets that I think people will be able to take away from the Supreme Elite Team University is a realistic expectation and understanding of what this system is and what it's about and totality. You're going to learn that everything that you obtain, all the information and understanding, it's not solely going to be for the sole purpose of getting out of a debt, because that's never the angle anyone should take. I'm doing this to get out of a debt. No one, why am I saying that? Why do I believe that no one should take this angle that I'm doing this solely to get out of debt? The reason why I say that, because when you focus on not having to pay debt anymore, you're going to miss the bigger picture. Because once you understand the bigger picture, you're going to realize that that's not even the angle. There's most likely no case law governing accounting. Most times you won't really specifically see it when researching any cases that solely go into accounting defense or exposure of the accounting, because let's be honest, they don't want people knowing the accounting, let alone challenging it. When the challenge of improper accounting has been the foundation of equity in the judicial courts of the United States, dating back to the 1930s. So one key word, accounting defense. Researching any cases that solely go to accounting defense. I just said it, because they're looking at accounting as a defense to their consumer obligations. So you will never find a case that goes into that, because you can't use accounting as a defense to your consumer obligations.
You're rocking with the best.
So number one, already looking at accounting from the wrong angle. But if you were a guru that understood these things, you will know that accounting is not used as a defense or your cause of action. It's to highlight the evidence and substantiate your legal cause of action. So when you take accounting away as a legal defense and only using it in support of your legal defense, this is when they're back to square one. They don't know where to go from there. Attorneys are not accountants. It has nothing to do. It doesn't matter. Administrative judges are not accountants. Once again, these administrative judges, it keeps hindering to the sovereign citizen lingo. It's like, no matter how much you want to jump to accounting and securitization, once you've been bit by that sovereign citizen bug, as reflected in this person's case filing with the $1.7 million home, it's always going to creep up out of you. Like, you cannot it's going to creep, it's going to seep up out of you. Administrative judges, that is that sovereign citizen way of administrative judges are not accountants. So how would they truly know who is obligated and how the accounting reveals the truth? Well, how would you know?
Don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a seasoned professional. Join the Supreme Elite Team University.
Thomas in the line.
You're rocking with the best.
Credit acceptance on a resume with stories in the fine lines.
Well, how would you know? Think about it. If there's no case law on accounting, and lawyers are not accountants, and administrative judges are not accountants, then where do you go to get your relief? Because accounting relates to financial disclosures. How do you connect accounting to a courtroom setting? I mean, you got a auto transaction, you got a credit card case, credit card, you got to know these things before you go into court. How do you bring accounting into a consumer obligation? If there's no case law on it, the judges are not accountants, the lawyers not, so how would they really know the truth? The same question could be posed to the guru. How would you really know the truth then? And this is what it means. The truth is always what I believe the truth is, or how I feel the truth is. And if the courts or the judges don't see it this way, then them themselves are wrong. But these are the same people that you are going to get relief, or requesting or seeking relief. These are the same people. It's like somebody trying to tell you you're wrong about something, but they actually need you for help. Like somebody trying to tell you, oh, you wrong about this, but they actually need your expertise. You see what I'm saying? Like, how does that look? So you have no judges. Judges can't tell you what the truth is. The lawyers can't tell you what the truth is. There's no case law on the truth. So going by this own logic, then why are you even trying to bring up accounting in the first place? Oh, let me guess. Let me try to deter people from the questions asked. Because I remember after I went live, people did start asking questions. Hey, and this post came about multiple people started saying, hey, can you evidence this in a court case? Hey, can you show me any? Because I told the people, yo, just ask her, prove this in court. Where are the cases to support what they're saying? I found over 70 cases to support what I'm saying.
On my Thomas legacy. I got knowledge, I got money. You know I am a trendsetter. Yo.
People started saying, hey, can you evidence this in a court case? Hey, can you show me any court cases? In which some people started to take that advice, because I told the people, yo, just ask her, prove this in court. Where are the cases to support what they're saying? I found over 70 cases to support what I'm saying. So where's the cases that supports what this person is saying? And it's either one conclusion: they don't know, because they don't have the true understanding of what it's really about to give you a definite answer. Versus in my Supreme Elite team group, we go over cases just like the weatherman goes over the news every morning. The stuff that many people out here are struggling to even grasp 1% of, we go over in our group effortlessly. Oh, no. It's not me. My members are saying this. And do I have to drop screenshots and emails they sent to me and comments they made in the group? I got to do that. It's not going to mean anything, because people are going to believe what they want to believe. Actually, more people are going to stay away further. And it's sad. It's because they're just envious. They're actually, the years of them spent with these people and getting spunt around, people like Mensa, Yusavel, Jonah Bay, Tamika, they are so punch drunk today, like they are shell shocked. And that's what these people, these gurus do. They take your money and destroy your world. So now everybody to you is in that same boat where you got the Supreme Elite team. We're just going to continue to keep trucking and moving along.
You're rocking with the best.
Do you think I will want 100 to 250,000 people knowing exactly what I know? As soon as people in mass, let's say I do a Thanos and I gave everybody my understanding. If the court started to see this stuff, these claims come in drones, do you not know they're going to find a way to shut it down? They're going to find another way to shut it down. I just dropped my last video on it. They're going to find a way to shut it down. This is open. This door is open, but it's not open for everyone. The harsh reality is, no matter how many people spent trying to fight all those mortgage, consumer, all that with these gurus online, the harsh reality is less than 10% are ever going to win. The UCC is statutory law. Why is it statutory law? Because every state has adopted its own version of the UCC and has codified it in their statutes. So when you go to court saying UCC is common law, you are showing the court your ignorance, and the other side knows, because the UCC every state has their own version, and they have been incorporated into the state statutes. So everybody's sitting here citing, let me tell you what they'll cite some generic version of the UCC. They'll cite that. But what they don't do is cite their own state laws equivalents, because, to be honest with you, sometimes the state law's equivalent is different from the generic DC code. Y'all citing the UCC DC code. You got to cite your state law. So if you got to cite your state law UCC, then that means the UCC is statutory law.
Welcome to another live stream from the New Culture Empire. Tomorrow, the Supreme Elite Team University begins. Don't miss the chance to litigate like a seasoned professional. Learn how contracts are really structured and presented on a balance sheet, and how to submit legal claims that courts recognize. Don't forget to follow us on social media platforms.
rocking with the best.
Got sauce in my hand. She rolling the dice, got luck in that van. Smoking that leaf, going global stand. On my wrist like a stage, they can't glance. You look like you wanna let go straight. I thought so, okay.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
Yeah. Live and direct on this YouTube Monday night, February 9th, 2026. Hey, Supreme Elite team. My bad, y'all. I got y'all. We gonna tap back in. I got the document for those forms and those schedules for your securitization tax returns. I got that finished and put together, but I had a lot of emails I had to get to today that people were sending me for the past couple days. My bad, everybody that's been sending me emails for the past couple days. My bad. I've been busy getting it situated. Y'all know I had to get the final things situated with my of course with my lawsuit, which we have resolved, and everything is completed, over, and there's case over. Everything's good on that. So I had to finish getting the final touches on that. But I will say this though. From what I teach, everything I advocate for, everything that I stand for, is 100% what I live.
You're rocking with the best.
Everything that I advocate and stand for is what I live. Shout out to those in the building. Shout out to the Supreme Elite team. Shout out to it. A Supreme Elite team. I got a new single that is dedicated for every member in the group. So I'm putting that together now. Getting things together, getting the singer together. We are getting things together. Of course, if you don't know, new album dropping soon. Second half too, the intermission is going to be dropping on all platforms, and I will be dropping a finance-related theme album called The New Culture Empire. We'll be dropping a whole album talking strictly about finances. I'm stepping way out of my comfort zone. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. But everything that I advocate for in real life, remember, I don't know about these other teachers. I don't know if they utilize what they teach. And I feel that if anyone is teaching, they should be the first example. Because when you're teaching people, their confidence, their experience, their understanding is not going to be as high as yours. So it is totally common for the teacher to be the one to have all the receipts first, because you're teaching others the understanding that brings them up to the level where they can get their own receipts. There's no such thing as, okay, I got receipts. Now I'm about to show you how to do it so you can just immediately get yours. I'm gonna give you this document. This is what I did. This is what I filed. That still doesn't guarantee that the student is going to get theirs, because the documents, that's a bare minimum. It's the understanding behind it, the wording. Templates are only as good as the person who is submitting it understands it. What if you get questioned on it? What if you have to defend it? If you don't know how to defend the template, I don't care if Jesus Christ himself anointed it. If you don't know how to defend it, it's not going to get you the intended results. TikTok, we are live on the New Culture Empire. We are live on the New Culture Empire on YouTube. So what this Supreme Elite Team University is going to do for people, we're going to strip away everything that you thought was important and going into your consumer finance defense. Now, you may have some understanding that's legitimate, and with the university, we're actually, what I'm going to do just to get a feel for the students and really get a feel for where people coming from, get a little background on them. I'm going to ask you, what have you learned in this space? What do you believe to be true? Because I'm doing that not just to respond, that's wrong, that's wrong. I'm doing it to get an idea of the mindset of the group. What's the mindset? Because I'm on good authority, I can actually tell you that I am qualified to tell you what's accurate, what's legitimate, what the courts will accept or not. And I'm not saying it because I believe it's true. This is years and years and years of perfecting this, perfecting my craft, study, research, professional documents, case law, hundreds of hours of reading balance sheets, hundreds of hours of reading SEC filings, indenture agreements. But even the average person that cites the SEC filings, their indenture agreements, their PSAs, even teachers, damn near every teacher is citing those documents. One thing that I understood in me talking to professionals behind the scenes, that just like the IRS tax laws, just like their regulations, in Supreme Elite Team, we went over it the other night and I gave you a clear breakdown. What you read is all going to depend on how you interpret it. Interpretation of what you're reading is important, because if you are interpreting those documents in a manner that is different and inconsistent with how every corporation who files these statements interpret it, how the courts interpret it, how the regulatory agencies interpret it, then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage from the beginning. My interpretation of everything that I'm going to be teaching in this university has 0% to do with my opinion. What I think about the system, it doesn't matter. This is why I don't give my opinion on it, because it doesn't matter. I am no different from the next person with how we feel about the system. That's just my opinion. If you want my personal opinion, I truly believe that if they went about it the right way, there's still a chance and there's still room for the finance companies and the banks to make some extra money on the side while still presenting a more fair and equitable contract terms to the consumer. I do believe they're going to have to cut a little bit into their profits, but at least the way I propose how the system will work, and my manifesto will be dropped to the students in the Supreme Elite Team University. My own personal thoughts. I believe if they went about it that way, it would save them money for foreclosures, repossessions, court judgments. The investors will be satisfied, and the consumers will have a less harder time of making their contractual obligations. The other side to that is it's going to cut into the corporation's profits. And that change is, that instant change is probably going to be rejected. They're probably never going to take my advice, but I just see that this system, and here's one of the clear few things that I agree with a lot of sovereign citizens. I do agree with them that it's let me be careful with my words, but I do agree that the terms are outrageous. I do believe that there's violations within these agreements. I agree with them on that. I do agree with the encroachment on our lives because they're basically making you slaves to the contract. I do agree with those things. I agree with a lot of how they feel about the system. Hey, I agree. It could be totally different. It could be better. But what I disagree with them on is their methods, their ways, and their rhetoric about going about their remedy and trying to right a perceived wrong. And one thing that I realized early is that what we feel that has been done wrong to us in a mortgage, credit card, auto, whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean the wrong. It meets the standards of wrong and entitlement to relief in a judicial setting. Because how we feel we've been wrong versus presenting a legal claim that is accepted by the courts, those are two different things. And one of the biggest things that you're going to benefit from the Supreme Elite Team University, one of the biggest things that you are going to benefit from is what a lot of teachers themselves to this day struggle with is, let me lay a foundation for you. You in general, so-called understand what's going on with the contract. You understand securitization, assuming they really do. I'm assuming that they all understand what's going on, understand the underlinings, understand how to evidence it on the balance sheet. Everything that I know, I'm assuming they understand. The biggest difference between me and a lot of these other teachers is the execution. It gets so frustrating when you know there's BS going on, you know there's a whole bunch of garbage going on. It's a whole bunch of quote unquote fraudulent stuff going on. You know that's going on, but you can't really prove it. And when you go to prove it, it gets rejected. That is the frustration that I understand. No one is immune from that stage. And one thing that I realized through my study and research in my years at this is that even your claims, even all of your factual evidence that you have, even that has to be presented in a particular manner and at the right time. Just because you have 50,000 claims, it doesn't mean it gets thrown all on the first complaint, just slapped on the paper. Everything has to be just strategically put before the court. It has to pass the admissions test. Is this admitted in court? It has to pass the rules of evidence. It has to survive a Rule 12b-6 motion to dismiss, which a lot of people are still falling victim to. Another thing that you're going to learn with the Supreme Elite Team University is you're going to understand securitization not from the online way, the general chain of title, lack of chain of title, you're going to understand securitization from a corporate professional manner. You're going to understand securitization from the collateral agent side. You're going to understand securitization from the indenture trustee side. And understanding securitization is not just reading SEC filings. That's not the end all be all. It's a good source of evidence, but you're going to understand how to read and interpret them. One of the things that you're going to understand as well is you're going to understand that although I believe this is a valuable claim, although I believe and I know this is taking place, you're going to understand that just because you know something took place doesn't mean you're going to be able to prove it in a court of law under the court rules in the court procedure. See, those are two different things. Court is its own separate entity. What's going on in financial transactions are governed by their own set of rules. When you get to court, everything that you know from the financial side has to be infused within the court rules of procedure. Why is that important? Because it is at that stage where 97% of people's claims fall apart. Fall apart. Key word that's spoken in these spaces is the word fraud. With the Supreme Elite Team University, you're going to learn why we actually stay away from that word unless we can prove the 5 elements of the fraud. See, you're going to learn fraud. What are the elements to prove it in court? Most people today, they file court filings and they say fraud, fraud, fraud. But what they don't do is cite all of the legal elements that the court rules require to establish a fraud claim. Because when you use the word fraud, and I've said this plenty of times, you are subjecting yourself to a heightened pleading standard. Meaning, if you don't satisfy the 5 elements of fraud, the court is most likely going to dismiss your complaint on its own initiative for failure to state a claim. Because fraud is a catchy word. It's a sticky subject. Reputations are killed. Like it's damaging. So when you want to bring that word, you have to bring the heat with it. You can't just say it because you're in your emotions and you don't like what they did. What is what I see online for people when they use the word. You're also going to learn Supreme Elite Team University is how you feel about the situation means nothing. Just because you feel like you have title to a particular vehicle doesn't mean you actually have title to a legal title, full legal title to a particular property unless you obtain what I'm showing on my screen right now. TikTok, we are over in YouTube at the New Culture Empire, at the New Culture Empire on YouTube. Unless, what do you say? Shout out, Dan. He said class the other night was fire. Appreciate you, broski.
You're rocking with the best.
You're going to understand that everything that we do is going to be in line with the court rules. Every claim that we bring from a consumer finance side is going to be what we can actually prove in court. And you're going to learn how to submit documents the proper way. Whoa, technical difficulties. Most people, they just cite, attach SEC filings to their complaint and like, judge, look and see. you even have to learn how to present the evidence and establish a foundation for the evidence. If you were in the Supreme League team class last night, the night before, when we went over my motion for temporary restraining order, if you can see how I articulated everything and tied everything back to the legal cause of action. And those in the Supreme Elite team group, hold on, those that were in the Supreme Elite team group, one of my flagship groups that I have on Telegram, you were there to witness that not only did I cite accounting, I cited securitization. I cited both. And you notice how a lot of people that cite those two, they still lose. But you also notice that I didn't cite accounting in their securitization. And y'all, Supreme Elite team group, y'all was there. I didn't just cite accounting. I went deep into the accounting. I took the accounting and somehow, some way, I wedged it in to support my legal cause of action. And that's another thing that you're going to learn, because I get so tired of people online just citing accounting and securitization like that is your legal cause of action. You will see and you will learn how to use accounting and securitization to support your legal cause of action. Accounting and securitization does not automatically give you a legal cause of action, because the courts and the opposing attorney is going to be waiting for that argument so they can reply with, well, accounting has nothing with the consumer debt. Accounting is a set of rules and guidelines how financial transactions are reported. There's no connection between the reporting of financial transactions versus a contractual consumer debt. Securitization. Securitization does not disturb the borrower's obligation to pay. They are not parties, third-party beneficiaries to the pooling and service agreement, like Kenyatta Stone said in that post that I let everybody see. You're not a party to that agreement. You're not the intended beneficiary. You're not the investor in a contractual relationship between the issuer and the investors, meaning any defects related to any assets or collateral assigned to the trust is only up to the investors to raise. And this is why you have class action lawsuits. The borrower cannot raise any defects to a contract in which they're not a party to. And that is post Galaski. That is post all these 08 financial, with the recession, all those cases. That is after that. And that is a major thing that you're going to learn with Supreme Elite Team Group. How to accurately infuse accounting and securitization in support of your legal cause of action.
You're rocking with the best.
You're not learning from anyone or a teacher who has not been successful in what they're teaching. You're not learning from a teacher who cannot say, hey, everything that I'm going to be teaching you all is everything that I utilize. And if you understand it, continue to build on it, then you will get your own success in your own regards. Because 98% of the remedy is understanding. The other 2 is the person behind it. But the understanding of it is more important than knowing it. This is why you have teachers that can cite securitization. They can cite it all day, but they don't understand it, because understanding securitization means you understand all the nuances that comes with it and all the in-betweens that comes with it, and how to put it in a legal court filing that meets the threshold and is not toting the line of using accounting and securitization as a legal defense. And everything I'm saying now is everything I did in my own lawsuit. I don't want to hear any guru out there talking about auto defense. Sign up for my class. I can get you this. I can do this for you. If they are not willing to produce their own certificate of title that shows no liens as a result of their own disposition in their case or settlement. Because mine is on the screen. TikTok, we over at the New Culture Empire. Mine is on the screen. And this is why many people do not like, it's like, let me just say this. I truly believe my reality rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And let me just say, let me just, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that. It's not gonna be for the reason what you think. The reason why my reality rubs people the wrong way is because so many people has an opinion about what's the right way and what's not. And I'm going to guess that many of us does not have a legal background in it. So meaning that means we're pro se. We say we go to court, we'll be pro se, right? I believe that you have so many teachers that they believe that they're knowledgeable in a particular topic. And because they may know more than the people that's listening to them, I believe that many teachers actually love the fact that as a default, when things don't work out, they can use and prey on people's beliefs that the system is out to get them anyway. So when you lose, it's that conspiracy in which you see in sovereign citizen groups where people automatically believe is going on. So when they lose, they get their case dismissed or they lose on summary judgment, you can always run back to say, see y'all, you see we was going over, we know it's right. Because most people and the teachers, they think alike. So the students believe it's the same way as the teacher's saying, not knowing that the teacher's way of saying it is not the legal way to win in court. But when you lose, they can easily say that, oh, it's a conspiracy. You see, they just don't want the truth out. What I'm doing, I'm stripping all those excuses away. And we're stepping into court, following the court rules, following the court procedures, and following accurate case law, not the cases that you see online today. Because the bigger issue is, if I come and say, the way you're talking about accounting is wrong, the way you're going about this auto defense is wrong. This is how the system operates. This is the consistency in the system, how it operates. All these finance companies, they pretty much do it the same way. Different ways of going about it, but it's the same underlining focus and same underlining things. And every teacher and every student has been happy as not making them prove it. Or they're scared to do it because they may get blocked. And this space for too long has been operating where you could just tell people what's going on. You could just tell them, and they're going to take action. Just talk about it. When I step on the scene, you better have receipts to back up what you're saying. And this is what these spaces were not ready for when I came on the scene. Everything I'm talking about, I didn't just come from an online class. I've been doing this for years before I came online. And everything I talk about, I got black and white receipts to back up everything I'm saying. And the problem with these teachers is I disrupted the status quo of these spaces by being able to talk and not be challenged on your success. It's only a problem when you have receipts. They only want to start tuning out when you have receipts. But it's the same receipts that they're trying to get themselves. And why do people get rubbed the wrong way with receipts? Now, for the students, you shouldn't feel no type of way. I've been doing this for a long time. So at this stage, it should be expected that I have receipts. I mean, if I was doing, listen, it should be a problem. Y'all should be looking at me crazy if I don't have receipts after me telling you I've been doing this about 14 years straight. At this point, I better have some receipts. I'm not like, if you see someone that's been out here 15 years, 17 years, but they don't want to show not one single receipt, that should be a red flag. So by me having receipts, not only does it validate what I'm saying, it actually confirms that I know what I'm talking about, and these other gurus don't know what they're talking about. Because if they can say the same system that they say is corrupt in a conspiracy when they present their claims, but the same system recognized my claims, then you can't argue that there's a conspiracy every time you lose. And that's what I take away with my receipts. The argument that there is conspiracy. Like, it's just one, we just gotta all keep fighting and one day we'll get it. See, my receipts takes away that argument, and now it holds the teachers and the students accountable.
You're rocking with the best.
As long as there's someone to blame, people will feel comfortable by continuing to do the same things over and over while expecting different results. Now that I'm saying it's not the judge, it's not the prosecutor, they're not at you, it's not the finance company's attorney, they're not in cahoots. The judges are governed by the same set of rules that we have to follow. They get in trouble too if they don't follow the rules. All these, I'm suing the judge. The judges know what to do and when not to do because they got an oversight. So when people are suing the judge today, it's what it says to me is, I'm suing you because I didn't like the ruling that you gave. Because they all believe that they're right. And it's hard for them to accept the reality that they've been wrong. It's hard to accept the reality that they've been wrong. I've had to accept the reality when I was wrong. I had to go back to the drawing board, tighten it up. I had to go through the vigorous learning phase. I had to go through the complex finance structures, the word, the language. I had to sit hours and hours and hours, didn't even get off the first page of trying to understand the balance sheet. I had to go through the ringer. I had to go through ups and downs, end arounds. Every time I turned to the left, there was another rabbit hole to go down. Every time I turned around, there was another whole term and language I had to become familiar with. I took no shortcuts. None of this was easy in the beginning. None of it. Did I want to give up? Yes. Did I want to stop? Yes. But did I give up? No. Did I stop? No. Did I stay at it? Yes. When I first started out, was there people around me getting receipts? Yes. Was I getting them? No. But what I did do was I stopped looking at it like I'm doing this to get this. I'm only reading and studying to get this. Once I put the outcomes to the side and just study and learn the system just so I can understand and learn the system for that own sake itself, that's when the what to do's, how to respond, how to put it together, how to structure it became second hand. It became so easy. Once I changed why I was doing this, the responses that I gotten changed on their own. I was on the phone with someone who works at a particular attorney's office today. And I was, spitting that ism at him. And he was like, hold on, I got to transfer you up. But he said, man, nah, you're good. Like, you can keep going for real. You're good. Damn, maybe I need to go back to law school. That's exactly what he said. He said, you make me want to, that question like, yo, do I need to go back to school? And yes, I don't make shit up. If I'm talking about the phone call, 9 times out of 10, it was recorded. I'm not talking about what I think, what I believe, what I think you should go. I'm telling you, everything in the Supreme Elite Team University is how the system works. The good, the bad, the ugly. This is how the system works. And if you need any type of clarification to really know if I'm talking about, you can look at my receipts. Because I use practical law. I don't use pseudo law. I don't talk about common. I use practical everyday law that every attorney uses every day. I can scalp these people using the everyday law. I don't have to go back deep into the 1800s. I don't got to shout constitutional law. I don't got to challenge jurisdiction. I don't need to do none of that. They gave me the rules to play the game. And before I started playing the game on this level, I made sure I understood the rules to the games that I played. I made sure I understood the rules in the game before I played it. And me knowing that I didn't go to school for this, I have courtroom experience. I know that, but I understood the fact that my interpretation of the law is going to be different from the interpretations of the professionals of the law. So what did I do? I sucked my pride up and I aligned myself with the professionals because their understanding and interpretation was far superior than mine. And lo and behold, by me soaking up the game from professionals who were elite level with this, it allowed me to understand the system and interpret the system and interpret case law on their level. So when the ex-SEC told me, when the homie Troy told me, when him and his attorney firm was talking about me, and he said, yo, whoever you working with, he's on his game, because I read his brief. He knows more than a lot of attorneys that I ran across in my 27-year career at the SEC. He knows way more than them. That wasn't because I'm better. It wasn't because I'm smarter. It wasn't because I just been anointed from God. It wasn't because of none of that. It's because I was willing to do what it took, in which most teachers will refuse to go. I was willing to go the extra mile. I was willing to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning and got to be back up at 7:30 in the morning. I was willing to forego my weekends and going to party and entertaining in the movies. And I was willing to put all to the side and spend all weekends in the home studying and researching while I'm in the home, but I'm not really present. I was willing to forego, sacrifice time with my family, sacrifice time with my kids. We wasn't going out like we used to. I wasn't interacting. I was locked in, and I had to make that sacrifice. And thank God for my wife. She understood, because it's not something that can easily be done every day. But I actually had someone that believed in what I was doing. And I made the sacrifices needed, because I know nothing is going to come to you if you don't put the hard work into it. It's not going to fall in your lap. There's no magical document. There's no magical template. There's no secret account. There's nothing that's going to take the financial hardships away off the drop of a dime. I've researched it. I've vetted it. I've spoken to people that actually work for the Treasury Department. I spoke to, was emailing back and forth agents who works for the Bureau of Fiscal Service. I was on the phone with the special agent who works for the IRS CID division. Hey, it was nice talking to you today. I got the emails. I got the screenshots. I got them. And all of them said it absolutely doesn't exist. We don't know how this stuff gets out here, but it's just absolutely not true. But I didn't need them to tell me that was not true. You want to know why? Because my wisdom and discernment told me that's not true. Because why would anyone, and I mean anyone, why would anyone want to just, like, you get $100 million, and it's just sitting there waiting for you, only if you understand the secret, a well-kept secret. But if you understand it, you get it. No parameters around it. It's supposed to be yours from birth anyway. You never got an account statement a day in your life, but all it is because you're going to take a birth certificate. You're going to take a birth certificate and automatically it means something else. With the people who issued it, the people who's responsible for paying you this says no. These are the people that are responsible for cashing you out, are potentially rejecting people left and right, left and right, left and right. But all of a sudden, as long as you understand the secret codes, the secret wordings, the secret, you're going to get $100 million. But if they give you $100 million, everybody else with a birth certificate, they owe them $100 million. So by default, everybody's supposed to just have $100 million check coming for the sole purpose. It's not because you were dead. It's not because of the 1666 SDKV Act, which is a British English law, which foreign law has no applicability in the United States. See, this is all practical understanding and reasoning here. This is not, nobody needs to tell me this. Like, nobody needs to tell me that a 1666 SDKV Act has no applicability in the United States. Nobody needs to tell me that the Bill of Exchange Act is nothing today, because the times that we in, we don't even use bills of exchange to do our transactions. See, the times of the day lets me know the reality of the system. Just like today, you don't need a wet ink signature to evidence that you paid the debt. And before I did research into that, because I kept hearing people say that what it is. Once again, I'm practical and I'm honest with my intentions. Why would you need a wet ink signature or evidence that you actually got into the account unless you're saying someone fraudulently opened the account in your name and you are a victim of identity theft? And unless that's the case, why would you need to see the wet ink signature? And this is the problem. Why would you need a wet ink signature? Let's just ask yourself a question. You ain't got to answer it loud. Did you sign the application? Did you sign the credit application? Did you get the credit card? Did the credit card agreement come in the mail? Did you know what would happen if you didn't pay? See, the answer to that question really determines your true intent. So if you sign the application, why are you trying to ask for the signature when you know that's your debt? When you know once upon a time you made payment on it. See, this is what the Supreme Elite team in the university, you're going to do away with those arguments because you're going to learn the real way to challenge these credit card debts and get around these judgments. You're going to learn the real way. You don't have to use the tactics anymore. I know that you're just doing it as a defense and you're trying to, save yourself and help yourself. I know that maybe, let's just be honest. If you get a line of credit of 3,000, but then your available balance is 0, but you got $1,000 bill, like who really wants to pay $1,000 on the bill when you're not going to have immediate access to the credit anyway? So I get the underlying, I see it. I see this is the problem. I've been around long enough that I know the true intent. I know what's really going on. What I'm telling you, even with the $1,000 bill, and you're not going to have the benefits of the available credit, at least with the Supreme Elite Team University, you'll still know how to legally and accurately defend it. Oh, yes. I make no bones about it. Everybody's contract, there's some BS with them. Everybody is paying more than what they even represent that you really owe anyway. What they expect to actually give from you is way less than what the contract says. I know that. So there's a real valuable way to get out of your debts doing things the right way, not what you see online every day, and presenting it in a legal, accurate manner, not what you see online every day. Because what you get from online, from with these teachers, is going to leave you worse off than before you came to them. And 1,000% guarantee what you're going to learn in the Supreme Elite team, many of the things that you would need to know to present a valuable claim. And I say this as humbly as I know how. A lot of you don't even know it exists.
You're rocking with the best.
Because if all these gurus were out here talking about accounting, I wonder why not one of them has ever even, they don't even know it exists themselves. Want to know why they don't know it exists? Because the only way you're going to know it exists if you go deep down into the accounting, and you have professional mentors that helps you stay clear with your interpretations. That is the difference. I don't think many people believe me, but over the past 2 years, I've assembled a team of professionals behind me. Ex-SEC attorney, ex-World Bank examiner, and Federal Reserve Bank examiner. Okay? When you fill out that Fannie Mae 1003 form for your mortgage, when you make your payments, when the servicer takes your payments, the professional I know in that regard with the mortgage, they're the ones that sends the payments to the trustee for the investors. So you can just imagine the conversation we had, what I know behind the scenes. This is not a pissing it's not a pissing match. Like, the reason why I don't take a lot of these teachers seriously because I know they don't have any professionals behind them. And this is a system where if you didn't go to school, have background in it, you're going to need to align yourselves with professionals. Because as the SEC attorney told me, which I already knew, just like every facet of life, it's not so much about what you know, it's about who you know as well. This does come down to who you know as well, because a lot of things that you need to know are things that are not publicly disclosed. It's all internal. And I'm not lying to you, especially when it comes from discovery. Especially in your discovery request. When it comes down to discovery, the whole this is how professionals look at it. This trial, filing a lawsuit, I filed that lawsuit not because I wanted it to go to full term to judgment. I filed the lawsuit to influence credit acceptance to settle with me. I didn't file the lawsuit and just to go and stick it to them, because there were a lot of things that would have came out that I knew if it had came out publicly and the order would have been made public and it was a public hoopla, it would shut the system. It would have an adverse effect on the public as whole. It's not just about me. And when you keep trying to pluck the bear and fly too close to the sun, you get burnt. No court is going to 1000% shut a system down because you're in your feelings about your contract. Because most people don't even know how to say what they need to say in their emotions in a roundabout way. Everything about their emotions is uncovering a scheme, uncovering a fraud, exposing the banking system, in which the banking system is the lifeline of the financial world in the secondary market. Without securitization, you wouldn't have the luxury of filling out an application, making a down payment, and leaving with the property in full and paying it back over time.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
So while you want to sit there and talk about to call it so much fraud and illegal, fraud, you're the same ones who are benefiting from it. They didn't make you buy that house outright. They didn't make you go out your own pockets to in order for that line of credit. You didn't have to buy that vehicle outright. Okay, expose the fraud and they shut securitization down. That is what you'll be having to do. See, we have to get out of our own individual anecdotal way of seeing it and look at the bigger picture. There were a lot of things that I could expose in credit acceptance that I did it because I understood it. And behind the scenes in the email, they thanked me for not doing it. They thanked me for not doing it because I understood the bigger picture. I understood that this would adversely affect millions of people who are not in this space, who has no problem with paying their bills on time. It's not just we are a small minority of subset of the country. Over 97% of people have no problem with paying for their mortgage for the next 30, 40 years or paying off their vehicle for 7 years. They have no problem doing it. And that if that's the way they think, that's it, how they want to go about life. It's not my job to tell them they're wrong because that's how they want to do it. I'm not paying it for them, so I shouldn't dictate whether they should pay or not. And this is why I'm careful and very meticulous, and I'm very strategical with the information I put out, how to attack it, because unlike other gurus, I understand that these people are going to be the ones standing behind it. So they have everything on the line. I don't have nothing on the line. So it's easy to not give a damn and give you a template on a mortgage just because someone looks at my page and they say, oh, you got 50,000 followers or you got 300,000 comments. You must know what you're talking about. And it's very funny that all the people that I see, especially on TT, that has no clue what they're talking about, going to get people sent up Schitt's Creek, are the ones with the largest views, the biggest followers, and know very little what they're talking about. Because this is a mindset thing. You don't get to understanding the knowledge until you have the mindset for it. And if your mindset is the only reason why I'm here is because there's a loophole getting out of my bills, or I don't have to pay anymore, or I can extract money from the government, you have already lost the war. You are just fighting meaningless battles along the way.
You're rocking with the best.
That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. For 40 years, they've been saying the same thing. For 40 years, they've been trying to sue the government in the Court of Federal Claims for the value of their state, aka birth certificate, for 40 years. And for 40 years, they've been getting rejected. But then every time you turn around, you got this, I know someone that was successful. Oh, I know someone that did it. Oh, I know someone that did it. Oh, I know. But when I ask them, have you been successful? The conversation ends. Because more people are concerned with being right than getting the job done. This is why I could show a video on TikTok with the statutes, just like the Amity video. This let me show you the delusion, and this is why most people, sad to say, but most people will never get the results they seek. Want to know why? Because they care more about being right than they care about following the rules and get the entire outcomes. Now, this is a classic example. I can take this down because, as you can see, there's nothing left to see there. Everybody knows I settle. Everybody knows I have the title. There's nothing more to talk about there. And you notice that everybody had a lot of opinions about my case before the final settlement. They had a lot of opinions. I came with the final settlement. I came with the emails, and I came with the title. Everybody's been quiet. Why is everybody quiet now? Before I showed results, they had everything to say. But as soon as I come with the receipts, everybody want to be quiet. They have nothing to say now. I like when they're silent. I love silence. When they're silent, that means I'm right. And that means they know that I'm right. And they have nothing to combat it from what they teach, so they stay away. My receipts, the Supreme Elite Team receipts, is like Raid. Keeps all the roaches away. Now, on TikTok, I posted a video. Now, let's just show. Hold on. Let me see if I could. Now, hold on. Let me go. We about to all right, so let's go here. Let's go here. Over 3,000 views. The biggest hurdles that all of 3,000 views, over 50 comments, 79 shares, 166 likes, right? It's one of my biggest views. Now, can everybody hear this? Are for crimes committed at the seas, the naval, the ocean. Hear that? So take that out of your driving tickets, consumer law, being sued, civil court, criminal court. Take Albertine, throw it in the trash. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear that on TikTok. Put a 1 in the chat. On YouTube, if y'all can hear that in TikTok, put a 1 in the chat. Hold on. I know your mindset and your belief don't want to do it, but the reality is put it there. It doesn't apply unless you're on the seat. The biggest hurdles that all of you jurisdiction people going to can't get around is that the courts have jurisdiction. Number one, based on the 10th Amendment. So all this common law court or admiralty courts. Admiralty courts are for crimes committed at the seas, the naval, the ocean. So take that. Let's stop right there. So in the video, it's clear as day that if you pause the video, it has the admiralty jurisdiction, right? And it says admiralty law or maritime law is a body of law that governs navigation and shipping. Now, right there, let's just stop right there. What does that have to do with a driving, criminal, consumer law contracts? What does it have to do? And this is the difference between the Supreme Elite team and everybody else. It's practical. It has nothing to do with consumer, criminal, mortgages, autos. So you know what we do? We don't even attempt to raise the argument. It includes substantial procedural law. Topics associated in this field and legal references work may include shipping, navigation, waters. TikTok, we are on the New Culture Empire on YouTube, the New Culture Empire. Waters. Commerce. Now, commerce in this thing is the activity exchange of products, goods, service, and financial gain. The word commerce usually means economic activity broadly on a national larger scale. Commerce can be used in many contexts, but it's most common used by governments in their constitution and laws to define authority, govern, regulate commerce activity. Now, in this context, they're talking about the shipping of goods, not your auto, or your finance, or your mortgage. The shipping of goods, because you got to look at the context of the admiralty and court. Towage, wharves, piers, and docks, insurance and maritime liens, canals and recreation, piracy, ship hijacking is also an aspect of commerce. Okay? Now, look at here. Parties subject to admiralty may not contract out of an admiralty jurisdiction, and states may not infringe on admiralty jurisdiction either judicially or legislatively. Since admiralty courts, however, are courts of limited jurisdiction, which does not extend to non-maritime matters. The Savings and Suitors Clause does not provide for concurrent state jurisdiction so that non-admiralty remedies will not be foreclosed. Okay? Now, under admiralty, the ship's flags determines the source of law. For example, a ship flying the American flag in the Persian Gulf will be subject to American admiralty law, and a ship flying a Norwegian flag in American waters will be subject to the Norwegian admiralty law. This also applies to criminal law governing the ship's crew. However, the ship must be flying the flag legitimately. That is, there must be more substantial inconsistency, yada, yada. So once again, what in the admiralty jurisdiction do people get that has anything to do besides navigating in the waters, in the oceans, and the seas, when the examples that they gave was talking about the oceans and the waters and the seas? And no matter how many videos I put up with the judges saying, we're not on the waters, this is not in the ocean, no, we're in the criminal courtroom, no, and they will say, well, the Constitution gives admiralty and common law. Sir, this is criminal constitution. We're empowered by the 10th Amendment of the Constitution and by states legislators, which enacted these laws into statutes. We're governed by this here. No matter how many times people say they're wrong, They refuse to believe they're wrong. And these are the people who have no results to show for their rhetoric because they can never accept when they're wrong. And it's a hard pill to swallow that you pay monies, you pay documents, you pay for these templates, you paid along your way. Whole time you were paying for the wrong things since day one. It's better for them to continue to say they're right than to accept reality that everything that they thought they knew has been wrong since day one. That reality and truth is the two hardest pills for a lot of humans to accept and swallow. Admiralty and maritime powers refers to the federal government's ability to pass laws that relate to the water systems of the United States. Congress is granted admiralty and maritime powers through Article 3, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Once again, so commerce on the waters. Let me say it again. Admiralty and maritime powers refer to the federal government's ability to pass laws that relate to the water systems of the United States. So when I made that post and I had the procedures posted in the video, the people who refuse to follow the law as is written today are the people who will continue to be in comments. Out of all these 50 people commenting, maybe 2 or 3 were right. Because if you go on my page on TikTok and see with the Admiralty is the one with 3,000 views, you'll see people commenting saying, no, that's wrong. No, they're wrong. No, they're wrong. That's not how it is. Nah, it goes like this. Nah, they doing it wrong. It's like this. But when you ask them to show your actual Admiralty results, none of them has anything to say. I told you, this space is nothing more than where people's opinions and who thinks alike comes together to congregate. That is 99% of what this space and social media is about. To talk about what you believe is true. And since everybody believes the same way, then it must be true. But if you ask them, what is you being right benefiting you in your everyday life? How are you benefiting economically for you being right? Let's just say I give you that argument. What has it benefit you being right? And the real answer is absolutely nothing. See, my method, what I teach, and what the Supreme Elite Team University, which starts tomorrow, is about, at least when we're right, we walk away with free and clear title to the subject property. At least we walk away with the actual asset when we're right. At least when we're right, the account balance says 0. At least when we're right, we enter into settlements so they don't have to answer to the complaint. At least when we're right, the account gets removed from the credit report. At least when we're right, we own our shit outright. Now ask them, what are the benefits of them being right? Absolutely nothing. And this is why the Supreme Elite Team University and the Supreme Elite Team and the New Culture Empire, when it comes to actual consumer finance, corporate finance, case law, court motions and pleadings, there is not a single channel outside of professionals from what I've seen. If there are some that I don't know, then obviously I'm not talking about them. From what I've seen over the past 3.5 years, there's not a single channel that could swim in our bathwaters.
You're rocking with the best.
And that's just the reality. See, them being right, they're just right for the argument. When we're right, we get our stuff free and clear. When we're right. Now, admiralty law, admiralty jurisdiction of the courts. And I'm going to say it for the final time. And if you don't believe me, just go to court and ask the judge, what jurisdiction are we under? Common law, merit, or admiralty? You're going to get the same answers. Admiralty only pertains to commerce and laws, body of laws governing commerce, navigating through the waters, shipment of goods at the sea. Unless you are on a boat or on a yacht transporting goods, admiralty has nothing to do with you. Unless you were pulled over on a boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, admiralty law has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your criminal case. I don't care what website, what books, what sovereign we the people get back our rights website you were studying from, what redemption manual, what we're the real private Americans, nationality, what state, national, Republic of America. I don't care about none of that. Unless you were pulled over in the middle of the ocean on a boat, you going to court for driving without a license has nothing to do with admiralty law. Unless your house is situated in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, your mortgage case has nothing to do with admiralty court. Unless you were charged with piracy, trying to hijack a ship, you stepping in criminal court, admiralty has nothing to do with you. And you don't have to take my word. Just go to court with those arguments and I'll let the judge tell you the same thing. I would let the judge tell you the same thing. And it's only a matter of time before the teachers start telling people admiralty law isn't the way to go. Just like the 1099A. When I destroyed that, they shut it down. When I start talking about 1099Bs, they stopped talking about it. Anytime I lead the wave with factual proof, destroying these teaching methods with the actual receipts in the documents in which the teachers say, they immediately stop talking about it and they immediately disavow it. Anybody who's still trying to teach admiralty, common law, your birth certificate has all this money, they're just trying to milk money out of you. Because everyone who's talking about birth certificates, like the lady I just posted where she was making a whole video about your birth certificate and endorsing and all that. Number one, they've been trying that for 35 years to no success. And themselves are never living like the multi-millionaire that they're telling you that you can become. They all talk about there's $100 billion in the account, but none of them live like it. They'll quick to sell you a process on how to get your $100 billion. They'll sell you for $500. You'll have your $100 billion like me. So you got $100 billion. You got $100 billion, but you're going to charge me $500 to help me get mine. Oh, you're so generous and benevolent. You're so generous. Oh, you are so generous. Thank you so much. Hey, listen, the shadow ban on YouTube is still out. So the notifications, you're not going to get it. You just have to be on by the time I'm on. I try to drop links and drop notifications that I'm on, but the shadow ban is still on. We're petitioning now to get it removed. But if you catch it, you catch it live. If you don't, you don't. But that we ain't never let that stop anything, did we? Because the people who it's meant for are the people who's going to get it. And the Supreme Elite team, no, the university, it's not going to be for everybody. Because most people with this, with the sad thing about what most people are going to continue to search for sites and sources of information of people who think like them. See, 98% of people will not join my university, all because I'm not telling them what they want to hear or speaking what they believe. Rather, I'm speaking against everything they believe, and I'm showing evidence to show that what they believe is not the reality. That's why. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has everything. It has everything to do with me not confirming their delusions and their belief systems. That's why. That's the reality of it. I'm not confirming what they believe is true. They have no understanding. They only believe something is true because they see a lot of people saying the same thing. They haven't done their research. They haven't done their investigations. They don't know any professionals who they can look to make sure their interpretation is clear. They don't know anyone. All they have is an online teacher and their own limited understanding, which is a cocktail for disaster in court. But I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I'm telling people what they should have heard years ago. Okay.
All right. Appearance for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brad Johnson, P75416, on behalf of the plaintiff.
Hi, Lisa
Mr. Powell, state your
Chappelle.
name for the record.
Hi,
All right.
Lisa Chappelle.
And we have been back and forth on this matter. And at this time, get this. This was defendant's objections to the garnishment. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, do you have anything else to say?
Your Honor, I have, since the last court hearing, I have done my due diligence in further investigating this situation.
The due diligence means nothing if your due diligence isn't in a professional manner in which the courts recognize. Your due diligence is just researching and reading something one time, getting a literal interpretation of what you're reading, and then you're flying off into the wind. You don't check conflicting sources. You don't get multiple opinions. The first thing you read is what it says. That's what you go with. This is the same thing as people who read 28 USC 3002, look at the definitions, and it says United States or it's a corporation. They automatically believe that, oh, this confirms that the United States is a corporation, not knowing that that is in the context of debt collection, meaning they're going to be held to the same standards as any other corporation when collecting a debt, not that the country itself is a corporation. See, those little things right there lets me know whether I'm dealing with a rookie or another professional.
What I have found out is that what I have been told for the last couple months is where it stands. The debt is paid in full. I have reached out several times, and I did.
Once again, as you can see right there, what did she say? From what I've been told, the debt is paid in full. From what I've been told, the debt is paid in full. From what I've been told, the debt is paid in full. TikTok, y'all come on the other side to the New Culture Empire. I'm ending this TikTok live. The New Culture Empire on YouTube. One gone, TikTok. All right. I'm done with over with TikTok. But what did I say, y'all? The debt is paid when they believe the debt is paid. The debt's not paid when they get a settlement statement or a payoff statement showing a zero balance. See, that with the Supreme Elite Team University, our job isn't done unless we get an official acknowledgement that the debt is paid. We don't do that. We don't stop until the debt being paid is evidence on the record and it's evidence in your account statements, and they send you a zero balance, y'all. We don't play those type of games. with the new culture empire, we don't play those silly games. We don't play those silly games. We will never play those silly games with y'all. We know the debt is not paid until it's officially legitimately paid, not when we believe it's paid.
Email a letter to the court on last week breaking down the amount of times that I have contacted Westlake Portfolio Management Company since our last appearance.
Westlake Portfolio, they are in a blender right now. I have them on the surgery table for scalpel. Westlake, another company that I've been studying for 3 years, inside and out. What a coinky-dink.
Before you. And it's still the same. This debt is paid in full. It's not going to show up on what I did find out is it would not have shown up on my credit because no one is submitting it to the credit bureaus as it's over 7 years old. I have as recent as of last week, I believe Wednesday or Thursday, not exactly sure of the date. I did put that in the email that the account is closed. They were waiting for the escalation portion of it for it to be any type of correspondence to be sent to me. However, I was informed that I would not necessarily receive anything because this was a third-party collection debt. And so they were unsure as to why I continued to call, because the several times I had called before, they just continued to say the same thing. Ms. Chappelle, you owe us nothing. We're not going after you. We weren't going after you. And they weren't even sure as to why I was even in court still fighting this. However, today I did speak to Mr. Johnson in a breakout room, only to find out that the state of Michigan dispersed a payment right after we were in court last month on the 20th.
See, once again, we don't, this is what I mean. It's not what you heard, what you said, what you was on the phone and they told you. Black and white facts is when you know the debt has been satisfied or set off. You see, that's the only way you know. Right there. It's not hard to get that. When it's legitimately set off, that's what you get.
In the amount of $2,715.47. He did not notify me, nor did he notify the court. And so when I asked Mr. Johnson, why wasn't I notified? He didn't really have an answer for me. And so I let him know that.
Where's that payment, counsel? Where's that payment? Because as far as I'm concerned, that payment needs to be being held until I rule on these objections to the garnishment.
Your Honor, this payment went to the office in Kentucky in a huge batch. It's not just Ms. Chappelle's account. There are hundreds.
No, that's fine, but are they holding this because I haven't ruled on the garnishment yet? I understand the state of Michigan doesn't know that, so they probably just sent it out. Where is that money? Is it being held waiting for my ruling?
Supreme Elite Team University, there's not going to be any questions about it.
You're rocking with the best.
There ain't going to be no questions about it.
You're rocking with.
No questions about it. No questions about it. With the Supreme Elite Team, ain't no questions. You're going to know when it's over with. Because we're going to get documentary evidence that it's over with.
Your Honor, yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know. So, ma'am, the money is being held right now. It hasn't been, it's waiting for me to rule on whether or not you get that money back or not.
Your Honor, that is not what Mr. Johnson told me in the breakout room. And as a matter of fact, what he said was he wasn't sure what was going on with the payment. Only thing that he knew was they had received the payment. And I asked him, why wasn't I or the court notified that that payment was sent? And he had no answer at all. He was not able to answer that. And he just pretty much shrugged his shoulders and said to me, it was sent in a batch. And I said, but you didn't notify myself or the court, and you knew we were in litigation. There was no response. At that point, he asked me, well, what are you asking for? I said, I'm going to ask the judge to return my money to me because you all weren't even supposed to get it unless she said you were supposed to get it. I just feel like it wasn't an honest situation, Your Honor. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're good. Counsel, do you have anything else you want to say?
I think it's all been said, Your Honor. I've tried to reach out to Westlake myself, haven't gotten in any contact. So it is what it is at this point, Your Honor.
All right. Here is my ruling. Let me just find the original judgment. All right. I have a default judgment entered on July 18th of 2016 for the amount total judgment of $6,116.55.
Right there. Why did it ever get that far? See? Listen, millions and millions and millions and millions of Americans face this every day. And since they are unequipped to deal with these people on a legal manner, this is what you get. We not talk about just in these spaces. This is what you get day in and day out. Judgments and judgments and judgments and garnishments and garnishments. With the Supreme Elite Team University, one case at a time, we're changing the tides. We're resetting the record.
Counsel, if you can tell me how much has been paid to date again?
Your Honor, to date, and I'm not counting the funds from this most recent tax garnishment, to date,
Correct.
I have $7,373.
$7,370 has been paid to date.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, $3,003.73.
7,000. How much? $7,000. Okay, and 70 cents.
73
Has
cents.
been
Yes,
paid,
Your Honor.
has been paid to date. $7,003.73 has been paid to date on a total judgment of $6,116.55. I have reviewed the applicable law that counsel has tried to rely on of MCL section 600.6013. After going through those, counsel initially indicated that he was relying on subsection 3. Subsection 3 is for complaints filed before June 1st of 1980. This does not qualify under subsection 3 because this complaint was not filed until 2016, which is not before 1980.
See, she said she did her due diligence and she didn't read the fine print. And when you can use this law, you might have to use another law. She didn't even read it. Basically, she just saw what she saw. It felt good to her. She could use it and they go. And many people do this. They read something once. They don't read the fine print. They don't read the nuances and they just go with it. Now look at her. Look at you. Look at you.
As such, I then reviewed and it looks like counsel's actually relying on subsection 7. And I come to this conclusion because in counsel's response, they indicate that the statutory judgment interest that has been accruing since the date of the judgment is a rate of 13% per annum. The only subsection that allows for 13% per annum is subsection 7. Subsection 7 indicates that for a complaint filed on or before July 1st, 2002, if a judgment is rendered on a written instrument evidencing indebtedness with a specified interest rate, interest is calculated from the date of filing of the complaint to the date of satisfaction of the judgment at a rate specified in the interest rate if the rate was legal at the time the instrument was executed. If the rate in the written instrument is a variable rate, interest shall be fixed at a rate in effect under the instrument at the time the complaint is filed. The rate under this section shall not exceed 13% per year compounded annually. For that section to apply, I rely on subsection 7 because counsel has indicated that they are charging 13% per compounded annually, and this is for complaints filed after July 1st of 2002. However, subsection 7 does require that a specified interest rate or variable interest rate be provided in the written instrument of the judgment. The default judgment here does not actually address any interest, and actually says interest is at $0 and is based on and does not check or allow for any statutory rate or any variable rate. So as far as this court is concerned, this default judgment does not comply with subsection 7 because it does not specify any interest rate, nor does it put the defendant on notice that any interest will be calculated.
And look at this goofy down here. Look at this goofy. I told you Westlake, they so slow. Westlake is slow, y'all. Their lawyers are slow. Their company is slow. Their companies are idiots. The lawyers are idiots. I got off the phone with one of them in the office today, and he said, damn, I need to go back to law school. I said, and y'all oh, God. Another one coming, y'all.
As such, the defendant has satisfied well more than the amount of the judgment. The fact that there is no interest rate specified as required by subsection 7 or a variable rate specified by subsection 7 or any indication that interest will be compounded to satisfy the requirements of subsection 7, which would have allowed you to assess that 13% interest rate. I'm going to rule at this time that it is invalid. I am finding that defendant's objections to the argument to the garnish.
Now, why is this the case? Okay, so what happens is they never had the interest rate tolling, because so when you don't pay, interest tolls. That's just by law. So when Westlake filed the amounts, but the interest wasn't tolling, it's an indicator that it may have already been set off. See, where her is, they people like Westlake and these finance companies, they will charge off the account and it will show a zero balance on their book, but they'll send it to a debt collector to try to sue on the contract itself. So it's what we call, well, I can't say that. I can't say it now because I can't say that now because y'all know how that shit go. But in the Supreme Elite Team University, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. So, like right here, it was the same thing here. They try to say I owe, and I tried to tell them somebody literally opened up this account when I was in the feds, so it was impossible for me to open an account. So they tried to actually take me to court. So I actually sent the letter to them. Number one, explaining, I'm trying to tell y'all for the 4th time, but they kept saying, oh, it's your social security number, it's your address. So I hit them with my accounting document and showed them their own internal policy. And this is Midland. And I showed, I got their own internal policy. And I said, okay, you're saying I owe this. I believe I owe 0. And this is why I owe 0. Bam, 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 bam. And I'll be able to prove it in court. And when we get to discovery, you're going to have to produce this, which is going to show that I owe 0. So after 30 days after me sending them a letter, they sent this in the mail. Thank you for your recent communication. We have reviewed our records. Are righted to provide you the following. We have closed your account and ceased collections. You have no further obligation regarding this account. So basically what I'm saying is when the way we do it, there is no discrepancy whether you still owe or not. Our job doesn't stop until there's a 0 balance on the account. That's just what it is. Ain't that right, Annie?
Punishment are valid. I am going to order that money be returned to her forthwith.
Yeah, about time one of y'all was something. Yeah.
You're rocking with the best.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to you, girl. About time.
And that, in my opinion, although it is not before the court at this time, defendant has satisfied the judgment.
Look at his face.
As far as I'm concerned, any interest at this time is invalid because it does not comply with the requirements of any subsection of MCL 600.6013. Ma'am, you're getting that money back. I have found the objections are valid at this time.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Your Honor, will the court be preparing this order?
I have an order on the objections to garnishment. I have checked the box indicating that the objections are valid.
That's a good one. Had to give everybody some hope. So, yep, I'm about to finish preparing my curriculum. We got day one starts tomorrow. The curricular, the workshops, the worksheets, and everything that goes into it will be. If you, this okay. So this is what will be at the curriculum for the Supreme Elite Team University. I'm not going to show it on the screen because gurus will be watching and see what's on the screen, and they'll go research and try to have a class on it. Nah, they do that. I'm your teacher's teacher. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I'm not lying, y'all. These gurus be watching. So, week 1 and 2 will be the foundational framework, understanding the true structure of consumer finance, economic substance versus legal form, how lenders convert contracts into financial assets, overview of securitization pipelines. That's module 1. Module 2, identifying the 5 revenue streams into a finance charge, approximately. Week 3 and 4, ASC and accounting securitization analysis. I know these gurus act like they know about accounting securitization, but you can never see them get out their own stuff. I'm not going to say the ASC sections, but it's going to be 3 modules. I can't say that out loud. 5, 6, I really can't say that either. I can't say none of this. But it's going to include IRS position summary, litigation ready proof package, the calculations for their contract, basically what they say we owe in the contract versus how they really calculate for it, securitization pathway analysis, whistleblower supportive positioning, how to evidence derecognition indicators, when PV extinguishment occurs, administrator set-off claims, the master netting, filling out Schedule Bs, 3s, and other forms, IRS notices, 26 CFR, I'm not going to say the section, 26 USC, I'm not going to say the section, long-term, I'm not going to say that word, calculations, can't say that, and lender impairment, what triggers them, identifying the satisfaction in real-world case files, reading call reports and financials for FV movements, spread, servicing, income, discount margins, excess, interest components, residual, all the professionals, all the stuff that the professionals behind the scenes know. This is what you're going to, I hope that you understand and learn in the Supreme Elite Team University. I got a lot of people that hit me up from TikTok. I will be getting to everybody tomorrow. But without further ado, ThomasLegacy603@gmail.com. If you are interested in the Supreme Elite Team University, please send me an email. You better hurry and get into it because I don't see nobody else out here doing it besides the professionals, and the professionals going to charge you way more. The rates are the rates. The prices are the prices. They're not coming down, not going up. They are what they are. They're fair. They are what they are. 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 They are what they are.
Empire Talk, Boardroom Aura, New Culture, we set order. Thomas in the lobby, folded thicker than a skyline. Credit acceptance on a resume, war stories in the fine line. Supreme Elite, circle around the table, every seat a throne. Consumer finance in his bloodstream, built it from a student loan. He can read a balance sheet like a Judge Raton. See the trap in every clause before the ink is dried on. They sell dreams on installments, he just ordered the spell. Pick a predatory scheme down to decimal hell. Securitization flow, turn a contract to a bond chain. He can trace the money trail backwards in a rainstorm. Same lane, receipts in a briefcase, dates, times, bank names. You bring vibes to the courtroom, he bring numbers in case names. Supreme Elite, we don't speak, we file. He got receipts line by line, no smile. In the dark where they hide those fees, we light up the fee sheet.
flip scripts, turn a whip to a shackle. Interest climbing every month to your paycheck battle. But he peeled back price and APR under the mask. See the spread versus the funding, who's skimming off the past. He no chalk off, road race lost curves in his sleep. How they package up defaults and sell pain on Wall Street. He cross-checked statements with the filings in the forecast. Find a misstep and turn one comma to a court clash. Consumer on the stand, heart racing in the cheap suit. He translate legalese the plain talk, clean truth. Litigation in his left hand, excel in his right. Tell the judge what the bank did, cell by cell, line by line. Supreme Elite, we don't speak, we file. He got receipts line by line, no smile. In the dark where they hide those fees, we light up the fee sheet, breathe with ease. Supreme Elite, we don't speak, we file. He got receipts line by line, no smile. In the dark where they hide those fees, we light up the fee sheet, breathe with ease. They move in the margins, he read in between. They hide it in footnotes, he pull it on screen. From the boroughs to the boardroom, same concrete. Thomas built a whole empire off one word, receive. He paid vision, JD rhythm in his cadence. Double check the debits, then dismantle all the plaintiffs. Underrated models, he can see where they cheat. Assumptions too rosy on a loss rate sheet. Dockets on the desk, he align them like a chessboard. Case law, cash flows, every step, next chord. Supreme Elite follow, blueprints not gossip, they talk bag. He talk tax, keep profit, new culture empire. This is financial defense, teaching credit as a weapon, not a lifelong sentence. From credit acceptance battles to the hallways of appeal, Thomas turned every closed door to a signed, sealed deal. Supreme Elite, we don't speak, we file. He got receipts line by line, no smile. In the dark where they hide those fees, we light up the fee sheet, breathe with ease. Supreme Elite, we don't speak, we file. He got receipts line by line, no smile. In the dark where they hide those fees, we light up the fee sheet, breathe with ease.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
Run it up, run it in bang. Whipping up heat, got sauce in my hand. She rolling the dice, got luck in that van. Smoking that leaf, going global stand. On my wrist like a stage, they can't claim. You look like you wanna let go straight. What's up? I thought so, okay. I'm back in the symphony, stuck on the band. What's up? I thought so, okay.
You're rocking with the best.
Run it up, running it bang. Whipping up heat, got sauce in my hand. She rolling the dice, got luck in that van. Smoking that leaf, going global band. It's bang. Fresh white tee, chrome on the rim. Big body slide, whole block looks slim. Wrist on chill, but the boy too hot. Turn my last L to a key to the spot. Plug on the phone, say let's slide. Came from the back, now we front row live. Couch full of cash, can't sit, can't fold. Used to pray for a play, now it's overload. Run it up, running bang bang. Whipping up heat, got sauce in my hands. She running the dice, got luck in that van. Smoking that leaf, going global. Ooh, ooh, expand. Blue, 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 blue. Shorty too thick, attitude too. Say she want a boss, not a boy in the crew. Stamp my name on the side of her gas. Says she feel safe when I'm hitting the gas. Mama in the crib, fridge stay packed. All them long nights, put food in the stack. Talk about stay down, I really did that. From the floor to the fourth type check. Had nothing but hope in the half tank. Now it's 10 toes down, all gas. No thanks, till they cross that line, that's a bad move. We don't double back, we just improve. Run it up, running mid-range. Whipping up heat, got sauce in my hands. She rolling the dice, got luck in that van. Smoking that leaf, going global. Expand.